Hi, today you're going to hear me talk about this guy right here. It was sent to me by a company named FIFINE, and it's the KT688CT, which is a dynamic microphone. It's like a broadcast microphone, and it's perfect for podcasting. And there's a lot of cool little extras on here that you don't get with some of the higher priced ones, and which makes it a lot more versatile. So I'm going to talk to you about that right now. Okay, so I'm going to start off talking about what this microphone is and what it isn't. So this is a wired mic. It's not wireless, and it does a couple of really good things for you. For one, it isolates your voice. This is a dynamic mic, and it is a broadcast type of mic that you'll hear radio broadcasters, podcasters, news, that sort of thing. You will hear them using these type of mics. For one reason, it has a nice, warm, full sound, plus it blocks out extraneous sounds that a condenser mic would get. When you're recording vocals, depends on the type of vocal. You know, a very subtle, maybe a really soft, articulate vocal, you'll want to use a condenser mic for those type of things. But dynamic mics are great for like rock singers, heavy singing, really loud and dynamic singing. You'll hear a lot of vocalists use different types of dynamic mics for that. You'll also notice that they use those during concerts and whatnot. This is primarily designed for a studio environment, or in your home studio. But what's really nice is it's USB and XLR. I am kind of a XLR audio purist, and I believe running an XLR from a mic directly into a really nice interface is the way to go if you have that ability every time. But if you happen to be mobile, out and about, need something in a pinch, or you don't have an interface, the USB will work just fine. And I'm going to test both of them so you can hear the difference. Some of you may not hear much of a difference at all, but the ability to have that is great. It also has a headphone jack on the back with a control to control the volume, as well as the gain of the mic itself whenever it's plugged into USB. When it's plugged into XLR, it's just a low impedance signal that goes to your device or your interface, and you control all that from over here. So, what do you think about the sound? I think it sounds really nice. I was surprised when I first plugged it in. I have another one of these type of mics that I've had for years that I paid probably 5 times as much for. Oh, it's more than that. And it's one that you'll hear a lot of broadcasters using, and they've been using them for decades. And I'm going to compare them both just to kind of let you know, or at least hear the comparisons and see if there's enough of a difference for you to spend that money. Some of the other things that you're going to see that this thing comes with is it has a built-in or a shock mount, and it comes with a boom arm. I was pleasantly surprised. I've seen these scissor type of boom arms before, and I've actually used them before and never really quite liked them that well. But this one seems to be a little bit better made than a lot of them. It's very solid. It's not wavering a bit. When I brought it in, I mean, it's smooth. And a lot of times these things will start sagging if you put too much weight on them. This one has a pretty nice tension to it, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's a nice addition. It comes with a not very long, but pretty long, useful USB mic or cable as well. So there is a mute button. The mute button only works whenever it's in USB mode, but typically whenever you're using XLR, you're going to do your editing or your post stuff with your device or your controller itself. So that's usually not an issue. So one of the things I want to show you some off-axis sounds, like if I'm talking from over here on the side, this is what it sounds like. If I'm behind it, this is how it's going to sound. and directly in front of it. So now it sounds like this. The other couple of things to look at is this is a pop filter, but inside, let me get this to come off. Hold on, there we go. You'll notice it's got a grill around the capsule. So you've got the capsule on the inside and a metal mesh around it, which helps with plosives. So as well as the foam. And the plosives are like your peas, your pops. If you say pinto beans or plush pillows, those type of words with the P's and B's, they'll a lot of times overload the mic. And this, well, I'm going to listen to it in post and I'll let you know how it worked. But this design is a classic design that was popularized many years ago, and they have used a similar design. And it should work just as well because the design is kind of tried and true for that type of rejection and smoothing out those type of imbalances. Okay, so now I'm going to test my RE20. This is another dynamic mic that is specifically, I shouldn't say specifically, but mainly used in studio environments, broadcast environments especially. These have been around for decades, and you'll usually see them in a more of a gray color. I happen to buy a black one, but it probably looks familiar to you. Anyway, this has been used for decades and is what you would consider a top tier broadcast mic, dynamic mic for radio stations, DJs, newscasters, podcasters, you name it. And I wanted to test it out to show you how it sounds in comparison and let you make a judgment. Does it sound 7 times better to you? Hard to say. A lot of people have different tastes, and they definitely have different sounds from each other, but for the function that they serve, this may be what you need, and in other cases, the other one might be more what you need. You know, you do definitely have only a limited use case for this due to the fact that it is XLR only, so you do definitely need to run a fairly high-powered interface. And what I say mean high-powered is I mean that will provide enough power to the microphone to boost its volume correctly. This is not a condenser mic, so it's not using 48-volt phantom power. It's just using gain directly from the interface itself. And that holds true for every type of dynamic mic. Each mic has its own requirements as far as how much gain level it needs. And most interfaces will work with most dynamic mics, but there are some that require a little bit more. All right, so now we're back at it with the FIFINE K688CT. And this time I have it plugged in via USB. And let me do this real quick and show you. And I have the gain turned all the way up, just to show you kind of apples to apples. So this should be the best signal to noise ratio you can get, feeding the computer directly. So I'm curious to hear how this sounds side by side. So I'm going to actually make a quick sound clip from each of them and compare those. Okay, this is the FIFINE KT688CT using the USB input directly to my computer. This is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is the KT688CT with XLR cable run directly into a Universal Audio Volt 176 preamp. 1, 2, 3. Here is the RE20 plugged in through XLR to a Volt 176 preamp interface from Universal Audio. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what'd you think? I think this microphone sounds really good, especially for the price. When you compare it to something similar like a Shure SM7B, it compares very favorably. I didn't have one to test alongside, so I used my RE20. But those are both traditionally a high-end broadcast mic that you'll see a lot of people use. And this one is designed much like this SM7B, and it performs very well. It's not noisy at all. It's very quiet, has the same similar little bass-driven sound that I think is really nice and warm. You have USB capabilities as well, and it's made extremely well. It's full metal. It's got integrated foam screen. You get the boom arm and a shock mount. So if you're in the market for something like this, or you might want to just upgrade your sound over what you have now, or even a lapel mic, and you don't mind it being wired, I can highly recommend this FIFINE K688CT. Thank you.